Praise Yah. So if you're looking at the SP44 Mark II's time stretching capabilities and comparing it to something like Ableton Live or Serato, where you can BPM match and key match from like different sources, different songs, then you're probably not going to appreciate what the 44 Mark II can do. But if you look at it as a subtle tool for locking in your tempos for your samples from a single source, then that is actually really good. Okay, so I have a 4-bar loop here. Okay, so I want to find the tempo for my loop. If I go into pitch speed, I actually already have it predetermined. Now, usually I'll tap my tempo out with the sub pad and then go into the pattern sequencer and sequence the loop, set the bars to the length that I have for my waveform for my loop. And then I'll just go in and listen to the loop point when the sequence comes around and manually adjust the BPM till it locks in. So now I'll do things a little bit different. So I'll go into shift, tap tempo, and then I'll set my BPM to what I have here. So 76.57. And hold shift to change this 5.7. So I'll just 76.5. And then I'll go into resample. Okay. So as long as your metronome is set to on, when you're in the resample, you'll be able to hear the metronome. So what I'm going to do, without doing any actual resampling, I'm not going to select the pad. I'm just going to press the pad that has the loop on it. So this way I can, in contrast, listen to the beats of the loop along with the metronome and see if it keeps time. Sounds pretty good. Now, as you see, as you heard, it kind of drifts out of sync with the BPM as the second bar of the loop begins to play. So my solution for that is to go ahead and just copy this into 2 samples and then chop it in half. So I have a 4-bar loop. I'm going to chop it into 2 2-bar loops. So for this one, I'll just adjust the endpoint. See the waveform right there where I can zoom in a bit and adjust this here. I'll set the loop and then just hold roll so I can hear the loop faster. Okay, that's pretty good. Let me zoom out, make sure my start point is set. Gotta set my loop point back. Middle knob. All right. All right, that's good. So I can just hit menu, truncate. And then for this other one, I will chop the beginning off and just go all the way to here. I'll zoom in. Get it real, precise. And then turn loop on, hit the roll button, make sure the loop is there. So it sounds good. All right, then truncate. From here, I want to go in individually for both of these loops and actually determine the tempo. So I'll click in on auto. I'll do SX length. All right, let's change it to 75.42. And then I'll do the same thing here. Okay. And then, so we have 77.37 and 75.42. So I'll go one by one and just kind of do the same thing I did with the metronome on resample and see how they lock in. 75.42. Okay, we'll just do 75.4. Okay, that's good. And now I'll do the same thing for the other one, 77.37. 77.37. 77.4 will work too. Kind of just round up there. All right, and hit resample. All right, so I'm now left with 2 different tempos for these samples, and now I can move into time stretching to get these locked into the same tempo. And so this is like the groundwork so that I can start chopping if I want, or I can just use these as loops, put them in the sequence and they're locked in so I can get my drums in there locked in together with the sample. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look over here towards the bottom where it says BPM set. If I hold shift, I'll see it change to vinyl vary. So right now it's on vinyl, so when I do pitches, right, the tempo changes. So it kind of emulates, right, a vinyl turntable. You got the little pitch slider on it, and you raise it up, the pitch is raised up, and the speed is also, the BPM is raised up as well. So if I hold shift and then turn this knob to no, it turns it off. So now pitching is going to be independent really to the tempo. But instead of adjusting the pitch right now, what I want to do is adjust the speed. And you can see the BPM readout right there under there, and then it says 100%. So right now it's at 100%, so I can change this. The pitch will relatively be unaffected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the two, and one's at 75, one's at 77. So I'm going to do something like in between. Let's say 76 is in between. So I'm going to aim for time stretching these both to 76 so that they're locked in at the same tempo. So if I hold shift, then I can adjust finally. All right. So 76. And let's go do the other one. Now this isn't always perfect because these aren't endless knobs. I can't really get to 76 exactly by holding shift because it will stop. So being that that's not perfect, if you hold shift and then press down on the push enter knob, it's going to bring you into this screen right here that allows you to time stretch by inputting numbers on the pads. So just as the numbers look, I'm going for 76, so I'll press 7 and then pad 6, and then the 10 works as my 0, so I'll put 0 twice. Just hit enter, and now my tempo has changed for this sample to 76. So now I have that one at 76, and it's, see, the speed has raised up 0.8%, and then on this one it's gone down from 77 to 76, so it's at 98.2% of the original. One thing I made a mistake here with is I did not turn this to vinyl. So as you see, the pitch had changed. I didn't notice that earlier, but if I got to change it to off, so now the pitch is at 0. So now I can independently change the pitch of these. So I want to go maybe like a little bit slower or maybe faster. Let's go slower. I like the tone. It's not perfect, so let me just go down a couple. So as you can see, tempo is pretty much unaffected. Yeah, so there it is. That's the vid. That's how I like to work. I like to, do a little prep work on my samples, really lock it in. I feel like that makes things a lot smoother moving forward when I start to chop up my samples and add drums and all that. Some people, and you may also be from, the camp that thinks, maybe I'll just tap this out and chop it up, and exact tempos really don't matter as much because you are kind of disregarding endpoints when you're chopping stuff, give or take like a millisecond or whatever. I don't know the exact measurement, but you can chop something, a lot quicker than it is without having the gaps between the chops. And so in that thought process, tempo doesn't matter as much, but this is just what I prefer to do. So I would like to hear what you prefer to do. And if this was actually helpful, leave it in the comments, give it a thumbs up, and share the video somewhere. I know I'll share it. I'll probably put it on Reddit. Anyways, that doesn't matter. Yeah, until next time, I appreciate y'all viewership and engagement. Until next time, keep on running with your dreams. God bless. Peace.